But my cage match with Balls Mahoney, I think, was my favorite because I was so fucking mad at him before that. So me and him kept trying these different finishes, and Balls was very cerebral. People wouldn't really know this about him, but he was like he'd been in it since he was 13 too. So everything needed a reason. So we would do this finish where, so throughout the match, he would have me on the table, and I'd get off the table, and we would say if it was like a table ladders and chairs match or whatever, he'd have me on the table, but I'd get off, and I'd boom hit him. He put me back on the table, I'd get off. He put me on the table, I'd get off, and then I'd superplex him through it. So then one night he's like, "How about we do the table, and then I'll duct tape you to it, and then drop a leg." I'm like, "All right." So we did that. That came off freaking awesome. And then we kept kind of like upping the ante. And long story long, we had a cage match. And this is when I was so pissed off at him. We had a cage match, and he was out. So he had all these different ideas for finishes. He's like, "I think we can pull the nutcracker off the top of the cage. If you do here, he's like, or you could do a swanton. I move, chair, I go, blah, blah, blah." So we had all this shit like written down in a notebook, and he was out selling his 8x10s and all that kind of shit. So I'm in the locker room. I can't go fucking talk to him, and I'm pretty green, not green, but not as seasoned as him. He's 10 years older than me, so I want to know what the finish is. And the only time I would get to see him is if he went to the bathroom. And I'm like, "Dude, can we talk about the fucking finish, please?" He'd be like, "Not now, not now." I'm like, "I'm gonna fucking kill this motherfucker." Like I was so mad. And then so finally it's our time to go. And I'm like, "What are you thinking for a finish?" He's like, "All right, here's what I got." He's like, boom, boom, boom. Chair shot me, put me on the table, go to the top of the cage, missed the swanton through the table. He's like, "I'm gonna take you, I'm gonna duct tape you to the table, climb to the top of the cage, and drop a leg on you." I'm like, "All right, sounds good." So I do the swanton through the table. He takes me, duct tapes me through a table, and I'm like laying there, like just staring up. My thinking was, drunk people survive car crashes because they're loose, don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, I'm just going to lay here, but then I don't know that he's going to jump on me. I remember like opening up one eye and just seeing he's like, fuck, at the time, he was like 380 pounds. Just watching him climb up the cage. And all of a sudden, and from what I saw later, the cage doesn't, I mean, the table doesn't break, it explodes. And it's just ricocheting everywhere into the cage. And then, for some reason, his mom was there. She's never been to a show. His mom was there. And she runs up to the cage and starts screaming, "You guys have gone too far this time." And I was like, wow. I'm like, I'm just going to lay here and pretend I'm fucking dead. So I did. I laid there. I let the EMTs come, put me in a stretcher, take me back to the locker room. All the boys are looking all concerned. And I get up. I'm like, "Yo, I'm fucking fine." And then that was one of my favorite times. And it was just after that, what was funny was we did like a show in Wildwood on like a Wednesday. And this was like after our feud had wrapped up. And they're like, they needed a main event. And it was like me and him. And I'm like, "Yeah, for the finish, just do the leg drop onto the table." And they gave us a table like a little, like you have in school. And the table would not break. He did a leg drop on my face. The table wouldn't break. But yeah, in the big match, the table broke. We finally broke the table in the second one. But yeah, that was my favorite matches. Me and Balls' cage match for sure. And then getting to wrestle him at the Meadowlands for WWE in front of like my hometown crowd, which was really crazy because I was like laying on the beach earlier, like a bunch of like friends and I were 5 years younger than me, and their friends. And then I get to the ring, and I look into the crowd, and they're like, "Johnny, what the hell?" And I'm like, "Yo, what up, fellas?" And it's like guys I saw on the beach like 2 hours ago, you know? So, yeah, a lot of my favorite matches were with John. And, of course, with my brother, too, you know? So,